What's up, everyone? Let's talk about the Daystate Delta Wolf programming and tuning, because it's kind of been a pain. There's a lot of confusion. If you look out on the web, Airgun Nation and YouTube, everybody, there's quite a few people that are frustrated. They feel like they're in an ocean and they don't understand the rifle. And I was there too. And some are taking just the wrong approach, and it's becoming even more frustrating. And then, so let's kind of put things in a box. Again, I work full time. I just like air guns. I kind of waited a year for Daystate to come out with a professionally made video on how to tune this, and it just hasn't happened. And so I'm going to give it a stab. I've been thinking about how to present this to you guys, so try not to be too harsh. But here it is. Look at the gun in its rawest form. It is a 177 to all the way to 30 cal. It shoots 12 foot-pounds up to 100 foot-pounds. And there's some settings in here. It's got an AVS system, which we'll talk about the first two steps and leveraging that and making things easier initially. And then we're going to get into the programming. And the programming, there's really three things you can do. One is you can mess with this little regulator here, the reg pressure. You can take it anywhere from 0 to all the way up to probably 180. There's the voltage. The voltage system is kind of like the hammer strike, which goes from 50 to 88. And that's like a 38 voltage swing, in which this tune is going to be the middle path. It's going to be kind of right in the middle for power and efficiency and accuracy. And then there's this dwell time, which is like how long it keeps things open, anywhere from 1500 microseconds all the way up to 3900 microseconds, which is, you know, it's confusing, microseconds and how long things, don't worry, but we're going to take the middle path, which is 2700. 2700 microseconds, 70 voltage. But let's first, before we jump into the details of this setting, I'm going to explain overall kind of how to make things a little bit simpler. So the AVS system will automatically, if you put in a pellet or slug, it automatically adjusts to whatever you say. If you say the chronograph, I want it to be 900 feet per second, it does that. It will adjust, especially if you got it out of the box, the reg pressure should be set. So what you want to try to do initially is find out what projectiles work in your rifle first, the best. Don't even go into the details. Grab 10 or 12 pellets / slugs, set it at 900 feet per second, make sure you're in the right caliber and everything else, and start shooting. Shoot on a bench, get the most accurate pellet or slug that you'll want at 900 feet. Don't worry, we'll narrow it down in step 2, but just narrow down all the variables of your projectiles and select that first one that you really like. Maybe it's cheap and maybe it's accurate. Maybe it's just plain accurate and you just want it. The second step, because there's going to be 5 steps here, guys, is find out how accurate it is at the speed, the most accurate speed for the pellet or slug. Now, we already know 900. We have a grouping. Again, this is the middle path. We're going to go right in the middle, go down to 850, go down to 800, go up to 950 and 1000. Because we already have the 900 one. Treat it like an eye appointment. Is it same, better, or worse? If you go up to 950 and you want to shoot at those higher speeds and it's worse, go down. If it's better, go up to 1000. Is it same, better, or worse than 950? Go to 975. That's roughly your velocity. You want that 10 to 25 feet per second area that you're gonna specifically tune your gun, and then start shooting. Maybe you automatically know if you want to play around even more, even go to 880, go down to the really narrow, and the AVS system will do that for you. So it's going to find the best projectile and the most accurate speed. And so for the next spot, this is where the programming actually hits. The thing is, there's the correlation. You have the triangle, the reg pressure, your voltage, and then your dwell time. And these all kind of correlate into how fast the projectile is going to get shot out and how accurate and how consistent. There's the speed, there's the consistency, and then obviously there's the accuracy. And those most of the time they're correlated, but sometimes not. As I mentioned, you know, this gun can do 12 foot-pounds of energy, and it's tuned this way now, or it can do 97 foot-pounds of energy with a 30 cal. What you can do is you can depressurize your gun and reset your reg pressure down to 50 or 60 if you're on the low end. And that kind of helps you step up your reg pressure to just enough of what it's needed, slightly over, so you can play with the variances. But just know this, think about it this way. Your reg pressure if you're shooting a 12 foot-pound gun, doesn't need to be 150 or 120. It could be literally 50 or 60. Your voltage, because we're setting it at 70 here, right in the middle, you can get away with maybe 60. Now, if you're shooting a high pressure gun or a lot of foot-pounds of energy, your 70, the middle path, can be 80 or 78, and the dwell time can be that as well. So just know that depending on where you're coming from, and that, look at the power differentials, and look at your voltage and kind of apply it, because it kind of is a ratio. I know people are going to argue like, no, but once you go in, just go with it for now until people actually start really digging in and see what happens. So that being said, for a 177 or a 22, set it at 80, set your voltage to 70, set your dwell to 2700 microseconds. These are right in the middle, and then start increasing your reg pressure to match. Once you've increased your reg pressure to match the velocity that is most accurate, you're on your way. If you hit that 880, let's say 880 through the AVS system, and you're on bench, I know what it likes. It likes this pellet at 880 feet per second. Great. Now, if you can match that, you move up the reg pressure. The reg pressure might be lower than it was before. That could get you some more shots. And now you can really kind of start narrowing things down, which your voltage is at 70, your reg pressure might be at 125, you're shooting 880 feet per second. Now, what's the whole dwell time thing do? We can think of dwell time as keeping your gun consistent. So a gun's accuracy is just not at shooting at that speed, it's how consistent it isn't. They talk about the standard deviation between shots. Like if your rifle shoots 880, then 1,000 feet the next shot, obviously point of impact's going to change. You want 880 feet per second every shot. And this is the reason why there's that big thing of showing standard deviation and extreme spread. And sadly, I wish the Delta Wolf would keep shot strings, but it doesn't. It only shows you the last shot, and I wish they'd put it in there. So I know, I'm going to show you an FX chronograph. I usually put this on the barrel, and I have the app run off it, and I'll do like a 10 or 12 shot string to look at the deviation. So as we know, as I mentioned, the 2700 microseconds is the middle point. We're already at 880 feet per second, which the projectile likes. Start shooting a string, 10, 12 shots. Now, increase the dwell time to 3,200 microseconds, 3,100 microseconds. It's same, better, worse. Again, we're doing the middle thing. We're dividing and conquering. Is it same, better, worse, the consistency out of the barrel? And you might know that when you shift your dwell time, your speed of your pellet goes up or down too. And so if it drops, you can just increase the voltage by 1 or 2 volts and get it back to 880 feet per second. If you bring down the dwell time to 2100 microseconds and you get an increase in speed, drop your voltage to 68, 67 or something like that. So the big thing though is as you're doing these 10 and 15 shot strings, look at your standard spread. Again, on the app that's here, you look at your standard deviation. If it's 886, 886, 880, whatever that is, look at the whole accumulation of those shot strings. Standard deviation, you want it to be low as possible, and you want your extreme spread to be as low as possible. Once you get that and you tune it in at the most optimum accuracy for the barrel and for the projectile, you got a tuned gun. You got it worked out. And this can be applied. I'm oversimplifying a lot of this, guys. I get it. There's going to be people that are mad, like you don't do this, but you have to simplify. You have to get the basics of something down first and then rework it. Because you'll notice that sometimes, for instance, if I shoot a 12 foot-pound projectile out of this rifle, I can use like 60 voltage. But if I go up to slugs shooting 990 feet per second, the foot-pounds are only like 20 or 23. But I'm using a ton more voltage. So it's not all linear, there's other things going on, but I just want to give you guys the middle tune. And once you get one tune down, once you do it one time, you'll start realizing like, oh man, if I want to go to this caliber or I want to shoot this energy, I can turn my reg pressure down and then I can turn my voltage down and you can just do the same thing. So you're in the middle now, just go in the middle again, go back to 60 voltage if you're going to do a low power tune with shot count, or if you're going to go high power, go up to 80 or 78, as I mentioned before. So that's it, guys. Sadly, you might need some other equipment to do this, or you can write it down. You could write it down and put it in a calculator in an algorithm or a spreadsheet. That's totally doable. But that's it. 5 steps. Find out what the best projectile is. Find out what speed it likes, the most accuracy. Start playing with your reg pressure, and then put in your voltage to get up to the speed that it's most accurate at, and then bring down the gun, get it consistently happy with the speed that you want and your scream spread and your standard deviation. And once that's done, I think you'll be happy. I think you'll understand a lot, and the whole world will open up to you and it won't be so confusing. But the worst thing you can do, in my opinion, is not have a basis for what the settings are, and you jump right in and start messing with the voltage and the reg pressure. I hope this helps, guys. Be kind in the comments. I really have been holding off on doing this video because I'm like, oh, this is people, the experts are gonna be like, what the hell are you telling them this wrong or that wrong? I'm like, well, someone's got to try something. Maybe someone will put out a much better video on explaining this, but that's my shot at it. Hopefully, if someone buys a Delta Wolf, they see this, give a thumbs up, and see you later.